Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Rogers, and I'm bringing to you today in an ongoing series that we're going to be doing called Table Talk. And the reason I'm calling it Table Talk is because over the years that I've been blessed, most certainly every conversation that's of any meaningful, that needs a meaningful decision for a family is typically right here at the kitchen table. And so we're going to call this Table Talk. I have a whole series of videos that we're going to do. I've got about 14. I'm going to go over those with you here. But we're going to do one a week, and I'm going to ask you to tune in each week to watch these. But I want to tell you just a little bit about myself first. I don't consider myself, yes, in technical terms, I'm a realtor. Okay, I don't consider myself sometimes a realtor. I consider myself a wealth advisor for real property. Okay, real property are homes, buildings, land, things of that. Those are real property. So I really consider myself an advisor for those. And the reason is that for more than 30 years, I've helped thousands of homeowners navigate some of the biggest financial decisions and emotional decisions about buying and selling their property home. My background goes far beyond real estate. As a former contractor, professional home inspector, and a licensed realtor, I've renovated homes. I've inspected over 16,000 properties in my career, guided families through every stage of these processes. This experience basically allows me to serve again as your trusted advisor, and I want you to think about that. Simply because helping clients not only understand the market, but also the conditions of a home, the costs that are involved, best strategies for moving forward with informed decisions. My goal is to simply help you buy or sell a house. It's to provide you honest guidance, education, and peace of mind every step of the way. Again, it's not just to sell you a house. This house is going to become your home. And for a lot of us, we've had homes, or you may be a first-time home buyer. You're being faced with decisions that sometimes you're going to be moving out of a house you may have been into for 30, 40 years, raise your family, and there's things like that come into play. And one of the reasons basically I enjoy helping homeowners through this transition is because I've been exactly where you are, exactly how you feel. You're not the only one. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have felt the same way. I've personally bought and sold 9 homes in my lifetime. Again, I've been very, very, very blessed. And so I understand your excitement. I understand the uncertainties, the stress, the emotions that you're going through that are going to be coming up with making a move. So I want to try to speak to you as a real estate professional, but I'm speaking to you from my personal experiences. I know what it's like to leave a home filled with, your memories, making difficult financial decisions, starting over in a new community. Those are things that are important. That's why I approach every client as a trusted advisor, sharing not only my professional knowledge, but also the lessons that I've learned over time and walking through this journey myself. And today I'd like to talk to you about something that many people experience, very openly discuss, and the emotions that come with selling a home. If you've lived in your home for 20, 30, 40 years, as I mentioned a minute ago, you're not just selling a piece of real estate. You're saying goodbye. You're saying goodbye to a place you raised your children, you celebrated birthdays, holidays, welcomed in grandchildren, and built a lifetime of memories. And that's hard. That's hard to let go of. It's not an easy decision, and I completely understand. Again, over my career, I've helped thousands of homeowners through this exact transition, and almost every family I've worked with has shared the same feelings: uncertainty, anxiety, excitement, and even a little bit of fear. And so you're going to have questions like, where do I start? How do I prepare my home? Can I really afford to move? Who can I trust? What happens when I'm moving to another state, such as where I'm at in Arizona, community? And these are all perfectly normal questions. The good news is you you don't have to figure this all out on your own. I'm here to help you with that, and basically have an experienced advisor, as in myself, walk you through all these situations it's going to be a lot easier for you, and it can make all the difference in the world. It seems like everybody has a quote unquote um, somebody that knows in real estate. Okay. Oh, I have a friend, or I have a relative, or I know somebody, around the block. They've got their realtor's license. I get it. And I commend those people for having those, licenses and certifications. But what I'm asking you to do is kind of look at where, as an advisor to you, what my background is and why the difference is. Anybody theoretically can get a real estate license. Does that make you a professional advisor? No. No, simple reason being is you may not have had the experiences, and you're trying to live vicariously, or that person's trying to live vicariously through other people and misinformation a lot of times. So that's not always a good situation. um, and again, on that topic, a successful move is not just, sticking up a sign in the yard and kind of going from there. Basically, it has more to do, it's about creating a plan for your goals, it's your finances, it's your timeline, it's your family's needs. And for example, for many retirees thinking about coming down here to Arizona, there's a lot of situations, that you're going to ask yourself, and locations, and the temperatures and the seasons and all these types of things, and what communities basically fit your lifestyle, and what are the taxes like, and how's the health care. As seniors, and I'm a senior, I don't like to admit it sometimes, but I most certainly am. And how does health care compare? And should you buy something now before selling your home, or sell first? And those are all legitimate questions. And how do you coordinate a move that, in theory, you're hundreds or maybe even thousands of miles away from your future destination? So these are important decisions, and they deserve, they deserve guidance. And over the coming weeks, again, we'll discuss these topics one at a time. My goal is to basically help you remove the confusion, answer the questions that you may that you may have, and you may not even know what to ask. We may just start out a conversation of, let's get to know each other. And I think that's important. All my clients, it seems like that, we've befriended each other over the years, and they're great friends of mine now. And we have personal relationships. I know their family, I know their kids. And so these are things that you really want to take to heart. Not just anybody, oh, okay, has a real estate license, oh, great. But are they a real advisor? Are they somebody that's really been in your shoes, or looking to help you, or are they just in it for a paycheck, right? So it's something to think about. And so whether you decide you're moving, next week, next month, 6 months, a year from now, it really doesn't matter. Every successful move begins with a good conversation, right? So, and that's what I stress. It's a good conversation between you and I. And I just want to thank you for spending a few minutes with me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next table talk that we're going to do. I have more subjects coming up. And we're going to talk about, you're not just, and let me just give you a quick overview. You're not selling a home, selling a house. You're basically closing a chapter. Choosing an advisor you can trust. The biggest mistakes retirees can make when selling. Should you sell or buy first? Moving to Arizona, what do you need to know? Understanding Arizona taxes, cost of living, healthcare, again, as I specified. Finding the right retirement community, if that's what you want to do. How to prepare your home without wasting money. What's your home really worth? What are the what's the emotional side of letting go? Those can be very stressful. Moving across state lines, protecting yourself from scams and bad advice, creating a retirement lifestyle. Instead of just buying another house, you're creating another lifestyle. Questions every adult child should ask their parents. Ironically, a lot of us are very, very close to our children, and they're very meaningful to us. And so they may have questions, and we need to talk to them, or you need to talk to them. Not about making your decision, but there are factors, right? They're your family. Estate planning, trust, in your home, and the final checklist before you put your home on the market. So I'm going to help you that with all that. And remember, my goal isn't to convince you to move. My goal is to make sure that whenever you do, you make the best decision for not only you but your family. Again, I'm Paul Rogers. I look forward to seeing you on the next Table Talk series. And until then, take care. Remember, every successful move begins with a good and wholesome, honest conversation. Thank you very much. Have a great day.